Hey everybody, and welcome to another video for the channel. I know I've been away, just prepping and working with the partners and all that, but here's a video that will tackle a lot of SEO questions that I've gathered over the past something years, especially this last year when I asked several BD owners and partners about the, let's say, the most critical or the most common questions that they have in regards to SEO. So today I'm going to be addressing all of this. So hi, my name is Luis Alvarado. Um, I've been doing SEO for a lot of years. If you research me, then you'll know. I was also a former senior developer for BD and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. If you see me on the marketplace, you see me here on the channel, you'll know who I am. And in regards to the SEO, I tackle mainly the SEO optimizations that are needed for the partners that we work with. I'll be leaving a link here in the description that will last or will be available there until December. Okay, so it will be October, November, and just the beginning of December, and that's it. That's for addressing because it's another thing that I've seen that a lot of people got hit with the August core updates from Google. That I'll be offering the SEO optimization services with a discount. So instead of paying 2,195, I think it's the current price, you can pay 1,695. So like $500 less, and you'll get the same amount of things, but instead of being restricted to 6 months, it's actually 12 months. And the 12 months is to tackle some, I would say, Google behaviors that I've seen, especially over the 2024. And also to make sure that at the SEO level, your site is successful, as always. Okay. So what initial in the actual initial changes happened during the SEO optimization that somebody would purchase that 1695 that I was talking about? Remember that I'm not a marketing expert, okay? So I'm not gonna be talking a lot of blah 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 in regards to, you get blue colors and shiny things here. No, no, no. I'm more engineering like. So I try to summarize a lot of the things that we do. It's just that these are the initial ones that we do, or in my case that I do, and I train others so they understand how to do them based on Google guidelines. Okay, so I'm trying to make this as best as possible. And two, thank you for everyone that actually helped me build this document because it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy to address so many SEO questions. So what initial changes happened during the SEO optimization from the package that we offer? Okay, so the initial ones, because there's more that happen later on, 1 week later, 2 weeks later, 1 month later, and so on and so forth. Some of them happen on a weekly basis, some of them happen on a daily basis, some of them actually happen every day after a core update happens. Okay, so we first optimize and rename, if applicable, the main images on the site. I would say that 90% of the people that do sites, they make that huge mistake. Compress images. Obviously, you don't want images of 10 megabytes, 50 megabytes. I've seen 50 megabytes on sites on the homepage. So we take care of that too, mainly for WebP, but we can also do PNG, AVIF, or JPEG. Uh, we do changes that relate to small or large layout modifications based on the Google guidelines for the homepage. Okay, so that's critical because 90% or more of the traffic will come from the homepage to the other pages. Okay, so we do changes in the loading of several of the containers that you have in the homepage, including the images, the way that they load, including how the JavaScript loads on those cases, in case they affect the TTFB, time to first byte, or any other critical component that's related to the loading process or that affects the core vitals, of course. We tackle any TTFB queries, there's a lot of them, even at the PHP or MySQL level. So we really go deep in there. That either could accumulate or has accumulated already to your site and it's affecting you already. And you have no clue why that's happening. So we attack those also. Okay, head on, including LCP variables. Okay, the large contentful paint variables or the first contentful paint. We detect human behavior or human errors that could maybe affect, or are affecting the site, and we'll obviously notify you, mainly through Telegram. But if you need to do email, we can also do email. But Telegram, for me, it's faster, because if there's something critical happening, nobody's going to be checking their email every 5 minutes. So we notify you as a site owner if something is happening or could happen based on the feedback that we've gotten so far about your audience, who you're targeting, how they use the site, how they join, all that, okay? Including URL issues, backlinks that are misbehaving one way or another, or penalizing you because of that, and other Search Console related problems, okay? We tackle all the core web vital issues, all of them. There's no exceptions here. We fix mobile related SEO issues. We correct meta information in case it affects the site. Most of the time it doesn't, but there's some, we've seen specific cases where it actually needs to be tackled. Fix common canonical URLs not showing properly, optimize the database at certain points and at certain tables for either speed, the way that it saves the information, the way that it processes or gets the information from there. We enhance the LCP, FCP, and CLS, everything core web vital related. For Lighthouse, based on Lighthouse, by the way, the Lighthouse on Google Chrome, because I've seen that the Lighthouse on Firefox, when using the Node.js tools, it gives false positives. So that's something that needs to be taken into consideration. So we use the Lighthouse directly from Google Chrome. We update the robots.txt based on what's misbehaving against the site. It could be sitemap issues. It could be also robots, spammers. Okay, like that famous Facebook external thing that's been happening for the, I would say, 4 or 5 months already. We update HT access where it's applicable to stop some garbage code that could be there, okay, that's not really needed. And in some very specific cases, depending on how you use the site, your target audience, where you're located, all that, we also do some optimizations at that level. We optimize the several database tables for speed. Again, this is related to how the site is used. And this is mainly done for the sake of speed, but basically impacts multiple pages at the same time. So there's some database optimizations that we do there. We also determine if a CDN, like optimized CDN, for example, is causing the opposite effect of what the CDN is supposed to be doing versus what you would expect from a CDN. I last week actually had a case about this. So they were having time to first byte. Actually, the overall loading time was 9 seconds. The moment that we removed the CDN, it immediately went down to 3 seconds. And after that, we even did more optimizations to lower that even further. We track JavaScript code delaying the load. Maybe it needs to be deferred. Not everything can be deferred. Maybe it needs to be async. Not everything can be async, by the way. And based on that, we ask how you're using that JavaScript and if we actually need to address it in a different way or another. Like a interval for the loading of it is not critical. If it's for Google, we handle it in a different way, etc., etc., etc. So check if an HTML container, rendered section, JavaScript code, etc., etc., is causing issues. For example, I've seen cases where the members put in their about us something that breaks the actual HTML, and when the sitemap actually gets indexed and it starts processing those pages fail and they give you an issue on your GSC. Okay, so that's something that needs to be addressed too. We optimize the PHP or MySQL calls for specific widgets, especially the ones on the home page and other pages for SEO related reasons. And we analyze the traffic flow using Google Search Console, using analytics over a time period, and especially for specific pages, depending on again how you're using the site and how you're offering the site to others. So I can give you an actual feedback about improvements that you can do. Okay, doesn't apply to everybody, but it does apply to specific ones that I see that they have a pattern for it. We also tackle page failures. So if you have 400, 300 errors that actually are supposed to be 200, or 300 errors that end up being a 400, or even 500 errors, we help you with those too. We do bot safety. Like I was saying, the Facebook crawler attacks that have been happening for the couple of months already. They eat your um, basically your bandwidth. We analyze UX and UI because that is related to SEO, and offer recommendations based on that. With these ones, we actually work together because normally they change the layout of your site. So that's something that needs to be talked together. We optimize the total blocking time, which is the one that I was talking about for the CDN. We make better cumulative layout shift changes so you don't suffer for CLS, better speed index, normalize certain page linking structures, mainly post, mainly member URLs. Okay, we prepare the site for consent for different modes that happen. For example, the Google Ads that happened a couple of months ago, the EEA that just happened last week, and so on and so forth. We can help you set up, analyze, or repair Google Analytics and other Google services that are on the site that are actually failing, or being linked together between two sites or your old site, or in one particular case that I'm handling right now, you got hijacked, and we can also help you with those. Okay, we have Google data sharing set up that we can help you with the analytics, especially. We can also merge the analytics with AdSense and ads, so it's you don't have to do so much work on the Google end, or even no work at all. We teach you, the site owner, about best practices and any other questions that you have about the SEO. Okay, this is more or less like the 2, 3 first months. It's not for the whole year, just for the 2, 3 months. So if you're really interested in SEO, I'll notice. Okay, there are exceptions. It can be longer, but it depends on the owner and if you actually want to learn about SEO, or if you have somebody in your staff that actually you want them to actually learn proper SEO based on Google guidelines. This is not based on third party ideas, okay? And other technical optimizations based on the industry of the site, the niche that you're targeting, the target audience there, the custom work that you've done there, all that, okay? All changes will always be up to date with Google guidelines and international SEO or data sharing practices, mainly the four big ones here, okay? And everybody in between. Um, so that's for the service of the link that I'll put on the description, and either on the Facebook post when I put that there, or on the YouTube channel, okay? In case you want to join that. You can join now, by the way, and it will still be $16.95. If something happens and by December we have to remove the $16.95, everybody that joined before will always stay at $16.95. That includes everybody after 2000. So if you want to apply the SEO optimizations on January or February or March, even April, it's you already pay for it. That still counts. There's no additional payments. We just start the countdown of the time the moment that the site is ready to for the SEO optimization. Okay, I will guide you if you're not ready after purchasing the package, so I can tell you what the site needs in order for the SEO optimization to work. Because, and before I continue, this technical SEO optimization is called. It's rare. Very rarely do I see it on a site. I would say that 1 out of 10 actually do it. And it's a booster. Okay, it's a booster for the content, or basically on-page SEO, and it's a help or indicator, positive indicator for off-page SEO, meaning backlinks and stuff like this. And it boosts in some cases 50%, which is a lot. In other cases, and I'll be showing you those cases here, it boosts 500% or even more. Okay, it depends on your audience. It depends on the market in which your industry is tackling with a business site, and other factors. Okay. Okay. So what follow-up work is done after the first stage of the optimization? Okay. The work done after the first stage depends heavily on several factors, again, related to the site. From what type of site it is, what industry is targeting, including geographical location. Are you localizing the site? Are you doing it nationwide? Are you international? Are you targeting a specific category, an age group, some audience that I'm not aware of just by visiting the site, and so on and so forth? There's a lot of questions that I ask you so I can gather enough material to know what type of SEO decisions to make and do, not only for the technical SEO optimization in the beginning, but also for the analysis of the Google Search Console and the analytics. Not only for those two, but also to do proper reporting so I can let you know when something needs to be done or when you don't need to worry about something else, etc., etc., etc. You're basically partnering with me and my team for 12 months so you don't have to worry about SEO. Just worry about the content. So apart from this, we also take into account the content type, what is more relevant in regards to the site, what needs to be pushed above competitors, what is more tied to the overall environment of the site, the business, the goals of it. Okay, it's basically a holistic analysis of the whole site. Who is the site looking for? Who is the site basically attracting or focusing on? Which, by the way, you have a visitor approach and you have a member approach. Those are two different, in most cases, ways of analyzing the site. This is just the base, of course. Based on this, we use Google for many things. It could be Search Console, Insights, Analytics, the Trends, Keyword Planner, etc., depending on what tools you want to use and what you want to do. By default, I immediately require access to your Google Search Console and the Analytics. After that, it becomes more complex, let's put it like that, again, depending on the business. But hopefully, you will only need to spend money on the SEO, technical SEO optimization, and that's it. And just focus on your work, your content, your members. So all the tools could be used to clean previous records if they're causing problems with the ranking, which I've seen, meaning you hire a previous team and they did not do a good job, or in one particular case, they literally hijacked the site, or if the site inherited bad data that could have been basically making havoc on your SEO, or that the domain, when you change the domain actually had a bad reputation, so that's affecting you also. And there's other cases, okay? So the follow-up work also includes any new technologies, SEO changes, SEO tips, or new rules that could impact the site or help the site even more based again on Google guidelines. So there's a coming. I'm doing this because of two reasons. Google core updates on August affected several people. I would say 50%. And there's a November one coming. November or December, in the beginning of December, something else. So it has to be November or December that you'll see that will either improve or impact in a positive or negative way. So it's something that needs to be analyzed at that moment. Your site. So by me offering this, it basically increases your chances of having a safety net at the technical level and getting you more feedback quickly before something really bad happens. Okay. How to best use BD for your Google SEO. So it is important to evaluate Google from a human perspective. What would a person do is the actual right question to ask here in regards to what would they do on a site to actually bring that specific traffic that they want for their site. What is the need that the site covers? The idea is to educate you, the site owner, so you have basic knowledge and understanding of what is going on in your site, what needs to be tackled, fixed, etc., enhanced, offered, etc., 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 and prepare for basically everything that's happening on the site for your Google ranking changes. How to evaluate the site and have someone basically to guide you, which is my job here, if something happens. Basically addressing the site from the SEO standpoint and helping it grow with proper optimizations, which you'll eventually see during this video. So here are common questions that I get. Do I need Neil Patel's over Suggest, SEMrush, Spyful, Pingdom, GT Matrix, or other similar SEO tools. If you've known me for more than 10 years, you know that I've been a very advocate for GT Matrix until 2019. So in 2019, in the beginning, I think it was February or something, Google launched Google Chrome with Lighthouse included. That basically crippled anything that would do core vital analysis, page speed analysis, and other related factors that you actually see in the Lighthouse. So if you're using or paying for any of these tools for that analysis, please don't do it. Um, they also don't tackle some things that I'll be mentioning here, but you don't need to keep on paying them. And two, a couple of these actually give you a lot of false positives, like a lot of fake information. You, if you work with me, you know which ones I'm talking about, like those huge PDF files. So anyway, uh, not really. You don't need to actually use them. And most of their techniques went obsolete between 2 to 5 years ago. Again, the 2019 case. The reason they're updated, so you can understand, is because many other techniques are based on statically generated sites. You know, the typical sites are statically generated that the page doesn't change and blah, 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 or platforms. Okay. So, or worse yet, as many of you already know, they assume the site is made on WordPress and not even a newer version. They're like they assume that you're in 3 or 4, and based on that, they analyze and suggest. That's the worst thing. Suggest things that have no common sense in regards to the site. Okay, or don't or not even applicable with the new rules that have happened with the Google search engine optimizations that Google has changed, especially the versions that of the Google algorithm. Okay, so because the algorithm has actually changed a lot since 2019. Because of this rigid approach, they're unable to tackle new web technologies and paradigms related to those, especially platforms. Basically, most of their tools still use concepts from the 2010 era and do not take into account, for example, sites that have dynamic page generation. Pages can change, even their own containers inside that page can change. Spa pages, which are single page applications, so it's just a single page that actually changes components inside of it instead of going to other URLs. Dynamic frameworks, most of them are dynamic frameworks already. Reactive containers inside pages that could change depending on many scenarios, okay? Pages that change based on traffic, geolocation, amount of times you visited the site, if you're logged in or not. All this applies to video, of course, and more. There's a lot of platforms that actually work like this. Not to mention, Google changes their SEO engine. So a lot of the tools above, these guys, I've seen that they have not updated at the same degree as the engine of Google has. That's something you have to take into account. And two, I'm pretty sure a lot of people are going to hate me because of that. I don't care because I need to save or help the business owners of the site. The point of them getting this SEO optimization or getting help is to increase their chances of success. That's it. That's it. All these new ways of showing fresh and unique content basically end up creating false positives every time you check with those tools. So you get these huge PDFs that just give you a lot of garbage information. You're like, oh my God, it's like the scare tactic. Okay. We also have sites that generate multiple URLs for the same content to address URL format structures. So this actually doesn't affect SEO at all. John Mueller and others have actually mentioned this multiple times before. But it confuses third-party SEO tools like that and makes them think you need to fix 30%, 50% or more of your site, when in fact you don't have to. And you, as a site owner, might even work with one of these SEO teams or sites that give you this huge PDF file, completely worthless for you, with 200 plus pages that basically just talk about issues, don't talk about solutions. They just talk about the problems. They don't talk about what they were able to fix or why are you paying them to fix. So instead, understand that those hard to read PDF documents are more about confusing and scaring you, by the way, than teaching you. Very important. There's a difference between somebody that actually wants to help you and teach you and somebody that wants to wink, wink, help you, scare you, or to stay with them. Okay. Now, in regards to the platforms in the initial question, are they worthless? No. Not everything that all these things have are completely bad. They do have nice tools to help you understand keyword value, for example, which you can actually see on Google Ads, okay, with the keyword planning and all that. But it's more complex, so they make it more easy to read. If you don't care about paying them for that, sure, go ahead. They also keep a list of their own data analysis tools to offer better information about keywords related to your site, in case they have one related to your site. Trends, specific topics, and even nice pointers will show you where your site fails in relationship with a Google SEO update. This is critical because, for example, I know that if your site goes down, you're gonna go and check when Google did an SEO core update. I can actually relay that directly if they match the same day, the same week. You won't. Most site owners won't have time to do that research. These tools, not all of them, some of them, help you with that too. Okay, so you might not even need me if that's something that's critical for you and you want to go with them instead of me. That's basically it. But if what you're concerned about are keywords and keywords alone, which is most of everybody that's going to be watching this, then you're already analyzing the success of your site in the really, really, really wrong way, and you're doomed to fail. By the way, by your hand, nobody else at fault. You. You have not learned, and I mentioned this before, by the way, you are unaware of Google entities, of Google changes impacting your sites in regards to the keywords first mentality since 2019. And even worse, you're unaware that meta keywords, for example, that I've seen that people still mention, have not and are not used since 2009. But the tools mentioned above still show them as relevant. You can go ahead, go to multiple of these ones, and you'll see that some of them actually still mention meta keywords. And you're like, what? Okay. So take that into account. On top of this, there are site owners that use AI to boost their site, which is a technique used for failure. It's for guidance only, not to apply directly into an article. Or they hire people, which is worse, that do a very poor job at writing articles. They make really bad, more or less unique articles. So they just copy something else and then change it and then charge you for that. Or worse, they join content syndicate where the same post is written and rewritten multiple times in multiple formats in multiple sites, which do get detected by Google, and you'll end up crushing your site from any possibility of ranking. So it takes me a longer time for the technical SEO optimization to help you if you're not truthful and upfront with that. And you know who I'm talking about. Like that would have helped me months of work. So anyway, here's Martin Jeffrey, somebody that published something on X, Twitter, and he's mentioned that over the last year, I consistently seen agencies of all types and companies use AI created content directly onto their site without any expectation it would harm their website. In April, he did a test. Okay, he did a couple of pages, optimized with SEO, not the whole thing, but most of it. Okay, within about 2 months, the website was outranking some major competitors on a number of keywords, and growth was looking awesome. And he was wrong about AI because he was basically he was also studying the Google guidelines, okay, in regards to that. And then this Sunday it hit. This Sunday it happened last year, by the way. Now this coincides with a spam update currently rolling out. Again, we're on 2023. But the only reason I could have lost all my keyword rankings has to be in AI created content. Whether this spam update, spam by the way, for Google it includes AI. It's also looking at AI content, which it is, or Google, as I believe, doesn't like full on AI content. Either way, the results show for themselves. Don't stick ChatGPT content on your website without very heavy edits, or just use it for inspiration, which is what I recommend. You want to see their tracking records? There's the tracking records. They started growing. Yay, we're doing awesome. And this will just kill you. If you go to his ex and you follow through what happened after this, it actually started growing again, and then it died again, and then it started growing again, and then it died again. I didn't follow up after that. Like that, if you die 3 times, that's too many deaths. Sadly, with a mindset like that, there's absolutely nothing we can do to help you, because you'll be wasting your time with me and my time. Like, you'll waste your money and time with me and your time. And time, you can't get it back. So I tackle organically approaches and techniques and all that. So we can't do anything there to grow it organically, or to see you start popping up for keywords in a real world scenario. If you've done AI on your site and you do purchase the SEO package, you have to tell me, because I need to address the elephant in the room and you need to fix it. There's a site that purchased the package a couple of months ago, and they did mention the AI, and I helped them address that and lower the amount of AI that was actually on the site to null. And after that, I was able to apply the booster, the SEO techniques and all that. Because if I apply the boost, that will rush Google in knowing about your site and other factors, but it will also rush Google knowing that you used AI. Get it? So I can't. If you have bad things, you gotta tell me, or else it will boost the fact that Google will notice those quickly. Okay. What should you do instead of those things there? For example, an easy tip, a simple tip. There's more, but for writing an article about chocolate cake, okay, then do a search how somebody would search chocolate cake. So typically, you know that if they're typing chocolate cake, they're typing chocolate cake recipe. So delicious chocolate cake recipe. Obviously, ignore the ones that are more that are being sponsored, because those are basically paid ones. Go to the top three. It could be top three, top five, top 10, top 20. Depends on how much you want to research. Okay. Not all the time, most of the time, but not all the time. The first three are the better ones. Okay. So you gather the information from there, how they wrote the article, how they're tackling. You can get some meta information from it if you want to, and that will help you guide you in a way that now you know how to write a chocolate cake, how to tackle it better, either for your audience, or maybe your local area, or your geographical location, or that specific language that you want to tackle for your subscribers, etc. You should be marking down these URLs and writing an article that captures the concept of what was explained in those sites, plus your little touch there. Capture the idea, look at comments and reviews about them. Maybe somebody left a review that the article did not address, and you want to include that in your own ones. Okay. Um, so how they're being engaged, all that. By doing so, your article will be have basically will have more substance, more value, be more unique, be more valuable. This will provide more details and better relevant information for everybody that's going there, because that's what the hell they're trying to get. And if you address the reviews and comments that those happen on your page, you're basically boosting what people want to see. They want to see that. Follow this by going to trends to understand basically keywords or things related to your site that you want to write about or you want to tackle there. Topics about, by the way, I did a video about Google Trends on the channel. What topics are beginning to turn into a trend, what is more searched in a specific area, nationwide, etc. Maybe in a period of time of the year, like taxes and stuff like that. All these points will give you an idea of what to start writing about. So there's specific, the year thing is because taxes actually boost around November, December, and around March, April. Allergy related is searches are more related to allergy related seasons. Tornado related safety guidelines or items for them and stuff like that are related to tornado seasons and so on and so forth. Like if your site is about politics, then obviously when you know, president or a prime minister is about to get elected, just before that, that's when you'll get a boost about any topic that you actually talk about. So my site has more pages not indexed than pages that are indexed. Let me put that like that. This is common and normal. You don't need to panic. You don't need to worry about it because that simply means, and that's based on multiple things here. Not all the pages that you see on your site will get indexed or are worth index. For example, why would you index the password recovery page? Why would you index a contact us page that basically doesn't have any content? Or maybe a testing page that you have on your site. It doesn't need to be indexed. The login page is just worthless. Okay, so those pages, there's no need to be indexed. And remember, indexing, the process of indexing is very complex. Okay, there's a lot of CPU, storage, RAM, all that going on just to help your site from the Google perspective. That's why they cherry pick what gets indexed. It can be crawled, but for indexing purposes, there's a lot going on in there. So why wouldn't a page get indexed? Which is normal. You'll never see 100% of your pages being indexed. That if somebody told you that, please Google what I'm talking about right now and avoid that person. That that's like a red flag there. So reasons, some of the reasons, the typical reasons that I found, but I put all of them at the bottom. So Google has found duplicate content on the site, and instead of showing them all, it picks a specific one to index. This is sometimes, which is the most common case here, referred to as an alternative page with proper canonical tag. There's nothing bad about this. Okay, it just means that Google found duplicate content with their proper canonical tags, but it's still duplicate content. So let's put it like this: you have a member called Lisa. Lisa is in the ice cream category, and she's in the United States. So you have the URL for her, or one of the URLs to search for her. It's United States slash ice cream. Okay. That same one could be United States slash Pennsylvania slash ice cream. That same one could be just United States, or that same one could be just ice cream because ice cream has its own category URL. All these ones will bring Lisa to the content of that page. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. But Google won't show all those cases because that's just like creating a lot of garbage links on search results for the public. So they just cherry pick one and that's it. Whichever they consider is the best one. If you would like to change which one's the best one, then that's where the canonical changes need to happen on your BD site. But this is something that you don't have to worry about. Another one is the robots.txt is blocking Google from analyzing the site. This is really bad. Or the HT access is blocking it. This is really bad. Those need to be tackled immediately. If you have 500 errors, hopefully they will get fixed quickly. Those are server errors. These are 404, 403, 402, 400 errors in general. Those need to be tackled quickly too, okay, to lower them. If you have them, don't worry, they don't affect your SEO unless it's like 50% of your link in the site. Some pages were actually having 300 rated codes that have more than, I've seen sites that have more than 100,000 of them, and that actually does affect you at that level. It affects you because when you do a check to see if you're making how many hops between redirects, I've seen cases where hops got to 7 hops, which is just crazy. I mean, 1 hop is understandable, 2 it means that you're being sloppy, but 3 or more is just like what the hell is going on here. So that affects the ranking for those specific pages, or if you have too many for the whole site. Because from the Google perspective, it means that you have a mess there. You haven't organized your site yet. The pages were discovered for indexing, but have not yet been indexed. That means that they're, and this one too, the pages were discovered, crawl, but were not considered for indexing. These two are related to how Google perceives if a page should be indexed, depending on the content of it, depending on how useful it is, depending on how relevant the site or the niche that you're targeting is, and so on and so forth. So it's not this. Let's put it like this: Google, a president just got killed. Somebody just got killed. That's huge. That's your competitor writing about that. And then and you both study at the same day, by the way. And you've both done the same thing, but they are writing an article about the president just got killed or an attempt to kill or something. On your end, you're writing about Bob the lamb. So Bob is a lamb that you have, and it likes chickens and stuff like I don't know something. Which one do you think is more important for Google to index? Understand? So those are things that they evaluate and they determine based on your content, which is based on, by the way, based on your content, on the industry that you're in, how big the industry is, how big the interest of the public is in regards to your things. That's why you see sites that are very niche-like, and when a specific topic about not their site, but a specific topic about things that they talk inside their site gets coverage by some news outlet, some huge one, they see a boost in traffic because now Google sees that, oh wow, okay, this site is now relevant. We have to make them relevant now. So very niche like sites take longer to grow. They can grow organically, but every time those things happen, they get a huge boost. And then on top of that boost, you have the technical SEO optimizations. Oh my, that you're gonna see the boosts that I'm talking about, like those 500 jumps. So anyway, there are many more cases that you can see on the Google Search Console pages. Okay, not all of them are bad. This is just Google notifying you of some of the things. So I can just go slow here, and you can read it, so we don't make this video so long. These are all the ones that I've been tracking. Okay, organizing them. Yeah, you can see a lot of them here. Some of them were grabbed from the Google pages, some of them grabbed uh, from really old documents that I had. I've been doing this for more than 10 years, so anyway, yeah, you'll see some of this will never show on your end. And also, for example, here are cases that directly affect the reason why something could be indexed or not indexed, but they don't show as a reason for it. It's just things that you need to take into consideration depending of, for example, if you're doing multiple languages, you're doing a localized content, okay, stuff like that. So your language and internalization related issues. There's the content and metadata issues, okay. You can just mhm. You can pause the video, by the way. Go up and down, pause the video. URL and site structure issues, non-canonical URLs in sitemap. This also happens. Will happen before in other. I've never seen this one on BD at least. Parameter-based URLs. This happens a lot, especially in analytics. But I haven't seen it on BD. Crawl budget limit. So this is not on you. Is if your site has too many pages or has low crawl priority, meaning you're new and they don't know you yet, Google might not crawl and index all of your pages due to crawl budget. Okay, there's other sites that they have to crawl, and if you have so many links, so many, which is I would say 2 or 3 of the cases that I'm handling on 2024. If you have so many links, don't expect Google to crawl all of them, index all of them, process all of them, read the content all of them in one go. You have to wait. There's so much, let's say, points they can earn from Google if it's the first time that that site, that domain is being processed by Google. Okay? And it's independent of this high quality content. So you have to wait. Here's user experience and page speed issues. Some of these are actually related to the work that I do. So take that into account so you actually know it, especially the first input delay. Jesus. Yeah. Site security and compliance issues. Some of these actually are tackled by me. Manual actions and or basically filters that happen there. If you're in here, that's because you did something bad. The only one that I've seen here that actually happened was this one because they somebody hijacked the site. So external factors that are could affect your site, and and other things. If you're doing A/B testing variants on the page, if you're doing like some my recommendation, don't send them public, just no index, no follow kind of thing there. That also happens. How to write the best article. So we're done with that. You can go back and pause the video and watch and read them. How to write the best article. So that's another question. Like I'm supposed to be a guru at best article. So look at the typical thing is look at the top articles on the first page of Google and see what others are using as a title. This is useful to get an idea of what is catchy. And then I add, but take that with a grain of salt since what you write about will most likely determine the title of it. The first results helping understanding the topic, that topic that they're talking about, by your article and the relationship with the keywords that somebody searched for. But your article might blow them up if done well. So title your images correctly. All the images you use in this article should be titled properly, using the same best practices as mentioned for write the best title. Okay, don't upload an image that has the year that it was taken and weird stuff. No, just like read the damn thing here. Okay, lowercase, proper naming, no weird spaces on it. Okay, and so on and so forth. Remember, these images will hopefully show on your images tab, which is another source by which you actually get traffic. People could be searching for an image and they end up on your site just because of the image, and then suddenly they just reading the whole thing. And now you just earn somebody new to the site. Never duplicate content. The worst thing you can do is duplicate the exact words or similar ones in another article that is already on any other website. This will harm you. This will harm you, as Google spiders will red flag both these sites. Well, actually, the latter one. So, alternative, what you can do is ChatGPT an existing article and post the fresh new content on your website. It is okay if the content is similar meaning that you wrote it. Analyze others and create a summary of it. And probably add new information to it. This, you see that, yeah, this is just a suggestion that somebody put here. This is bad in so many ways. They mentioned ChatGPT here. It was everything great and nice until this point. You're supposed to, if you still want to get ideas, okay, about what to write, that fresh content, new content. Look at the alternatives. Yeah, sure. Ask ChatGPT about it, but please don't use ChatGPT and then post the damn thing on your site because then you'll kill it. Get ideas from it. That's what ChatGPT is for. That's what AI is for. It's a help tool. It's not a replace tool. There's a difference. Your content must be, compared to this stuff here, unique, relevant, and useful. How long people stay and read your article is very important. The bounce rate is really important, except if you're in a spa type site. If a user comes and goes quickly into your web pages, it will hurt your rankings, and this is used as an indicator or one of the metrics to know if there was interest in the actual content of that page. So it's important to review any pages that may be causing this. On analytics, that's where analytics, Google Analytics comes in. Does the URL structure affect SEO? Yes, up to a certain degree. So let me explain that one. I've seen cases where someone suggests adding or removing the city or the state in a URL, or even changing the order of them for some weird kind of SEO boost or fix. I'm actually more curious how they got to that point where they think that that would be useful. Okay, or that, what I say here, that level of imagination that they actual made up idea of doing something like this would boost your SEO. Adding the name of the company or profession to it, the professional category, adding some kind of location-based sections and even adding the categories do help. Do help. They don't boost SEO. They help with it. Booster is much more than that. But turning a URL of a member into something that has 200 characters, like making it super long, so you feel like it's gonna boost your site, or even pondering the idea that moving the pieces around will help with SEO is more of an indicator that the specialist, whoever is helping you, has no idea what they're talking about, or that they stopped basically learning about SEO in around 2009, where a lot of things actually happen. Use common sense, please, to dictate how friendly, standardized, and understandable the URL should be while taking into account the content of that page that you're handling. Okay, that will actually help Google know more where and what is the content about. For me, and that mentality, by the way, is a red flag to watch out for. The SEO specialist ocean is full of people that actually suggest stuff like that, and they do other stuff. Okay, they start making up rules. They're basically guessing game. And Google has, for free, in an open way, has given everybody documents. Yeah, shoot, they're huge. Okay, some of them, but they're short ones too, like 130 pages. You can't read 130 pages. They even have pictures. I mean, don't be lazy. So that you can read, they're very open about that, so you can understand how SEO is managed, even for specific niche industries, countries, etc. Okay, so there are rules. Instead of making up stuff, just read it. Um, so yeah, that's my 2 cents about you getting screwed up with that. So does the URL structure affect SEO? Yes, but use this. It's free. How often should you post? Oof. Okay. So the quantity of articles you post is up to you. That's up to you. It's how often you actually have time to do those. Okay. You're not forced to do like one a day. No, no, no. Sometimes people think that you have to do that once a day, twice a day. Like no, no, it doesn't. That's not real. Okay, if you're working, you can do one a week, two a week, one every 2 weeks, one every month. There's no problem with that. Obviously, the less content that you have overall and over a specific time period, the slower that you will grow. Let's put it like that. So, what's more important here about the content is the quality of it. Okay, the quality. So, a site that creates one article every 2 weeks can, and I've seen that, beat a site that creates one article a day because their mm, articles, let's put it like that, have better quality. Rule of thumb, even before your site is live, always use the same frequency. If you started off by posting 2 articles per week, continue to post on those same days or at least 2 per week. Google is particularly looking for consistency. So they know that for them that means, okay, this person is actually dedicating their time for the site, so I will dedicate more crawling power and indexing power to their site because I can see that they're doing their fine work. That's how it works. You're both exchanging work at that point. Okay, you do not have to be perfect with timing. If you did an article on week one, Monday, and then another one on Wednesday, and then the next one, you can do it on Thursday and Friday. But at least you're doing 2 articles a week, or you're doing 1 article a week. Oh, a week passed and you didn't do anything. Don't worry. That's a rare case. There's no problem. You won't get penalized. It doesn't work like that. Now, you will get, let's say, lower crawling budget if you've been adding articles every week and then suddenly for 2 months you haven't done it, then that will basically indicate to Google that something happened to you and they'll lower their crawling budget, which affects your indexing, which affects your position on Google. Okay, first priority is to reach the E factor. Okay, the E factor: expertise, authority, trustworthiness. This is when Google is giving your site and your content more priority because of the work that you've done over the past months or years over any of your competitors. That's why you always see Amazon or CNN or some stuff as the first one. Okay, If your competitor doesn't do SEO, you will stand out over them. I've seen, just for you to get an idea, I've seen sites that, or BD sites in this case, that surpassed their competitors, which they were paying, get this, between $12,000 and $17,000 a month, and they got beat by somebody that paid 21.95 once. The 2,195 package. Right now you're getting at 16.95, but you get my point. You only pay once versus them paying on a monthly basis. If you research about SEO pricing, you're gonna see that there's a lot of monthly ones too. If they do not have EAT, then you will stand out even more. When you get EAT, you will know because when you post something, it shows in 5 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes after that. That's how you know that you have a need factor on your site. How do you formulate the titles and the headers? A common misconception, really old one, misconception is that Google cares a lot about H1, H2, and H3 titles and up to H6. This is something from the past. It is not as relevant as it once was. Why? Because of Google entities. So anyway, so don't bother spending time over and over analyzing your titles. Research your titles based on what the top 3 articles are using. You can use Google Trends. You can do a Google search for the topic that you're talking about, etc., 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 and come up with something unique but relevant to the actual content. Again, it could be the top 3 articles that you find, five X amount, just to help you with the guidance. There's no golden rule for this. There's no, the title needs to be 200 characters or less or 15 characters. No, 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 no. Stop that. The same as the content of the article, everything about the article, it needs to be 600 characters or four. What the? I don't know who came up with that. Google has never said that ever, ever, ever. For more than 10 years, I've never seen that. I've seen SEO specialists make up that crap, but I've never seen Google say it. Okay. Can you take down an article once it's been on your site? What if the content is not longer relevant? What if the person who wrote the article is no longer on your team or has asked you to take it down? What do? Well, if someone, one of your members, asks you to take it down, I mean, then just take it down. I know it will affect your SEO, but then something happened. You can talk to them, why, etc. That's something that needs to be handled between you both. Okay. If the content is no longer relevant, sure, you can remove it or talk to the person so it can be updated, or you can update the content to address why it's not relevant. What I'm talking about is, let's say that something happened and that information is not relevant anymore. Instead of removing it, what you do is you put it like a note, it's being updated this day, blah, blah, blah. Uh, the information below this line are not relevant, but they're left for historical reasons. And above, you can just say the new content related to what's actually relevant now. Or just put a little note. Everything here is obsolete since this day. This is no longer relevant. You're being open with it. Okay? That will help with the content being maintained there, even though it's not relevant, because it has a note about you're being truthful about the information that's there. Okay? A lot of the sites that I follow actually do that second one. Can you change the content images of the article once it's live? Yep. Just make sure that it's properly named, as I mentioned above, in regards to the naming convention. Lowercase, no weird symbols, no spaces, etc., etc., etc. How useful are Google Insights? A lot. Okay. They tell you if you're doing great or not. They give you a heads up on things that are occurring on your site, being good or bad. Okay. Trends related to how the site is behaving and more. They show in 2 ways. Either like this, okay, so you see this organic social appear in 50% of your key events paths. This was just last month. And you can see that organic social and organic search are critical because that means that they're literally showing on when somebody searches on Google. This is more important. This is more valuable than direct ones. Like if direct ones are the highest one, that means that you're doing email campaigns, you're giving the links to somebody, etc., instead of you being found on Google. So these two are used for being found on Google or social media sites. Okay, those are like the where you want to go. Let's put it like that. Here's, for example, other insights. Users dropped. You went from, we were expecting 353, between 96 and 353, and you went to 92. Here's another one. We forecasted that unique user scroll would be between this and that, and it went to over here because something happened. It could be a bot blocking this. It could be a core update that is affecting you, etc., etc., etc. So there's good and bad ones. Okay. The other one, by the way, if I would say 3 to 4 months have passed and you don't see insights on Google, well, actually, Google has been very slow as of late. So I would say 6 months. Let's put it 6 months. If 6 months have passed and you don't see insights on your Google Search Console or analytics, there's something wrong. That's more than enough time for Google to actually give you insight with 6 months of analyzing your site. Okay. The other one of the cases, because these two are this image here and this one are one of the cases below, which handle progress over time. So this one tell you what's happening over a specific time frame, smaller typically. And let's say SEO specialist, like in my case, or site owner know their timeline, how it's behaving. So for an SEO specialist, this should be useful for cases like studying the effect of a YMYL site, your money or your life site. Those are health related sites, financial related sites, sites that affect marriage, your status, your social status, like affect humans in one way or another, especially uh, psychologically and economically or financially speaking, okay, in those regards. Seeing how the type of audience engages the site, seeing how specific changes happen to those YMYL sites, content creation, some etc., having effect during a month or more. Okay, so here's one of the progress cases that by the way, this is not normal that an SEO specialist would do, but I want to show you everything so you can compare your site against all the ones that I'm, not all, but some of them that I'm working on currently, by the way, that will give you an insight and help you in knowing if you're doing good or bad. Okay, if you want a boost or not a boost, if you don't, and other factors. Okay, in regards to the SEO. So here's one that I'm studying. I call it Progress Case One. Uh, in their Google Search Console, they're growing or trying to get to in 28 days to 80 clicks. They and I want you to see the dates. Okay, we started working on this case on November, and let me show you in November. Oh no, we started working on this one in February. Sorry. So on February we started doing some optimizations and all that, and they had this on November. They joined on. They actually got the package at the end of January. That's what happened. At the end of January, they got the package. We started working on it. Did some SEO technical optimizations there. They got 50. But I want you to see, and it doesn't show here, that they were around 40 for, I would say, 5 months or something. Okay. So in February, we started working on that. And I want you to see the growth from February till the end of February. Okay, so they got to 50, 60, 70, and that's it. Now, what happened here? This is very important for you to analyze it because the SEO optimizations are a 50-50 process that I call. 50% is on your end for the content and marketing, all that you want. 50% is on my end, on the technical side of your business. Okay, the owner has basically not done more since February. So this owner bought the package. I did up to where the booster, and this is what the boost is about, was able to do. And since February till now, October, that this site has not hasn't gotten to the 80 mark. That's what I wanted to show you. So not all boosts will work if you don't put also effort on your end. This is a clear point. I'm not going to show you all the great cases. I'm going to show you everything that you need to know. Being transparent here. The failure, this is a failure for me, by the way. So the booster got kicked in. You can see how the boost ended up increasing her click-through rate by I don't know how much. She's on the last 28 days has just been 25. That's it. So there's no new content, no nothing, etc., etc., etc. So that's something that the owner needs to tackle. That's one progress that I call a failure. Let's go to progress case 2. Okay, this member is at the 2.2, trying to get to the 2.2 mark. Let's analyze this case. So I go here. Let me see where the case 3 starts. Okay, so here's the case. Okay, so yeah, you obviously can see where I actually started working on it. So well, I started working on this one, not in June. It will actually happen on August 28th, 27th, something like that I can recall. So at that moment, it was 60. This site stayed at 50 since 2022. Not 5 months, not 6 months. It never surpassed 50 for a year and a half or something. And then we did the optimization. Remember, it's 50. I want you to look at the 50 here. On June, it started at 60. Okay? June, that's June. That's just June. June. By the way, they didn't do Google Ads. That's very important for you to know. On July, they got 700, a month later. Okay? On August, they were 1.2. Remember that they started on 50, on 60, sorry, on 60. On August, they got 1.2. On September, they were at 1.8. Now they're on October. The middle, let's assume that it ended September on 2000. So it went from 60 clicks, not impressions, clicks, to 2000, organically speaking, is what I'm trying to say here. So this is one of those cases where both the owner of the site and us work together in the betterment of the site, the actual business site. That's the reality. Here you're seeing what happens if both parts work together. That's it. So I don't know the percentage in which this grew, but most likely was over 500%. Let's look at progress case 4. Let's see how this one went. So we're at it's trying to get to the 4,000. I don't think it's going to get there, but anyway. So it's 3.5K. Let me see when we actually studied on this specific case. This one actually studied. Okay, I remember this one. This is the 1.5 is not related to us. The 1.5 is related to the owner alone, and we actually did the optimizations before January 22. So on January 15, we haven't done anything yet. So once we did that, then you can start counting the growth. Okay. So what I would say is from 1 year to the other year, you can see the growth. Okay. 1.5, 1.2, 300. Okay. 300. Let's see after the optimization, what happened. So we had little changes again because of what Google was assuming the site because they didn't do actual proper technical optimizations and other guidance that I gave them. After they did, January 22, 2004, we go up and we see July 3 times more, basically. So they're trying to get to 4. This is a more realistic growth if both parts work together. Okay, without Google Ads. If I didn't put any cases here with Google Ads because they basically break the analysis. So here you can see that in January, February, March, April, June, July, 6, 7 months. Okay, let's say 6. They grew to 3 times more, and they've been growing steady over time. Let's go down here. Well, look at that. Look at that. I didn't even show you this. So look, on 22, 900. Just 100 between that many months, and then just 100 more here, and just 300 there when we started doing some of the things, and that's it. That's it. That's how you see, oh yeah, I can see that the SEO technical optimization is working. So here's progress case 5. Let's see if this one sucked. Okay, let's see. Remember that it could be a YMYL site, it could be very niche like. So anyway, we're seeing 450, 400. They accomplished 400 there. Let me see when they started. They started, okay, so here's when they started. The optimization actually happened on January, and there's no more than there. Okay, so this one I can't recall how many months it gathered before this, so I would lie there, but just assume that from November till January it was 30. Okay, so they basically stay at 30. After the optimizations, you can see just on January, just on January, they grew from what? They grew from 30 to 90, so 3 times. Okay, and let's say how they grew till they got to 400 on May, and then something happened. Okay, these are again. You say, oh, well, they're doing great. No, they're not, because I should have seen more growth here. They stopped. I know for a fact that they actually stopped adding articles. So that basically the boost. This is the boost working. It didn't have any more content to boost at, and two, because they didn't put any effort in more content to it, then basically you'll eventually die. Sure, they currently they're getting 172. This is October. So they're getting 172 in the past 28 days. And if we go back to when the whole thing started, they actually have 30, which means it's still doing good, but it's not the good that I wanted. I want to see sites that grow to a million. Okay. Here's another one. Um, and you can see the case scenario here. It was 5 for I don't know how many months. Okay. And then we did the optimization at the end of April, and then you can see how it grew. And then same thing happened. They haven't reached same thing. So I'm showing you the positives and the negatives for you to understand that this is a win-win scenario. We both have to work towards the site. I don't work for you. I work for the site. We don't optimize you. We optimize this site. So take that into account. So what are bad backlinks? Okay, bad backlinks happen in multiple ways. So if you go to Upwork or Fiverr, there are people who actually promise you a lot of backlinks. Generally, these are not the type of links you want or need to be associated with for Google purposes unless they're specific to your niche. Oftentimes, these freelancers from specific countries, so they charge very little, will post your name or whatever you want on all sorts of directories and places that have nothing to do with your product or service, and that will literally kill you, the site, your site. If this is the case, this can harm your site from Google's perspective because it will see that you're not really associated with that type of other categories, industries, specialized sites, etc. Okay, these are the same kind of people that spam your site or even social media sites with companies and professionals not even related to your site. So your site becomes a backlink for other sites, by the way. So they basically you get penalized too. That's where you see people joining your site and you're like, okay, my site is about, I don't know, vegan stuff, and why is this car auto insurance joining me? So instead, it is best to use real link exchanges with websites and people you know. These are they have better quality, better links for your site. They last longer, they're more relevant, better understood by Google between your site and theirs, and creates a solid foundation upon which Google can better understand your traffic, growth, content, relationship, and more. Okay? If you don't know anyone, like you're like me, you're more of a working uh, and just studying and working, and that's basically it. Try interacting on social groups. Comment on sites that target audience visits. Like leave a comment, tell them, hey, I created this article talking about this particular thing. I love whatever on this Facebook post or whatever. Come here if you want to learn more. Engage with them and let them know about what you're doing so they themselves can be turned into people that actually promote your site, promote your article. Okay? Does changing the URL structure after submitting an assignment affect my SEO ranking process? Sometimes, okay? Google might get confused and then have to process the URLs again. And if you have a really low crawl budget, then you screw yourself. This sometimes carries with it the labor of many 301 redirects, which, by the way, I stopped doing because it's a headache. It's a huge headache, and that's not included in the 1695. So either everything gets reset from the beginning, or or this should not be done. So if it is something that needs to be done, do it once and take note that you will go through a couple of weeks or months of GSC problems, Google Search Console problems. It will eventually fix itself, by the way, but with the exception of one case that I'm about to show you. How to check that your site is healthy and doing well. If you want to be independent and learn by yourself and check things on your own, you got the Google Analytics, which basically checks views to see the growth. Don't be misled by the spikes, okay? Because those are not the. It could have been a day that a lot of people typed something or something happened in the world, and that's why they ended up there. What you want is the trends, that growing trends that you're seeing here. Okay. This helps with trends organically over time. My suggestion is a 90 plus days, so anything 3 months or more, to analyze a specific period. I do 12 months, I do 6, 12 months or more to see the trends. The longer that I analyze the site, the longer that those periods turn into. If Google does a core update, I recommend doing the 90-day or the 30-day to see if there's any effects involved. If you see it growing organically, not because of your ads, by the way, then you're doing great. The Google Search Console lets you know why you are or are not doing good, where you can check which keywords people are using to come to your site, see which pages people see 404s, and so on and so forth, and how to fix them or what needs to be fixed if it's fixable. You got the Keyword Planner, which I also made a video about, useful for analyzing competitors and what they are doing, and that's for free, by the way. You got the Google Trend, which helps you know trends related to you. That's critical to creating content. That's what I recommend people doing. So that helps you in creating new, better content compared to your competitors. Some sites require 3 months of analysis here. Others need 12 months of analysis for. I'm talking about the if the site is healthy or not, and so forth and so on. What do I do if my members copy content from their site and paste it in their about section or write an article about it on my site? This is really bad. You will need to explain to them not to do that since it affects them, their site, and your site in a negative way. If they still want to do it, it is critical for them to mention at the top or the bottom that the original post is from whatever URL they say. Okay. Let me put this like this so it's organized. Um, that way, Google, when it analyzes the content, it'll understand. Oh, okay, so this thing here is actually from this other place, and they don't penalize you. Okay. A note about writing unique content should also be mentioned, or to avoid copying content like that, to avoid the site and themselves getting penalized by Google. So a little note when they're writing the about section, for example, you can put like a little hint saying, dude, don't copy your content, put it here, make it unique so it promotes your profile on my site even better. So where do I see updates from BD? There's a link that they have here. You got a blog / category monthly change log. You can see all the updates that they've been doing every month. Should I submit a sitemap to multiple sources? Yes. So you got the Google Search Console here and you got the Bing one here. Both of them will promote in different ways. Obviously Google is bigger, but both help, okay? So submit the damn thing on both. Don't limit yourself to Google. Especially if you're small fish, do both. What if my TTFB or LCP are too high? For the TTFB, most of the time this depends on the directory or actually the platform. and the server. A few times depends on how the page gets rendered and created. If you have a TTFB that is higher than 2 to 3 seconds, 2 to 3 seconds, 2000 milliseconds to 3000 milliseconds is bad. If it's higher than those, you will eventually see that the TTFB higher than 0.8 seconds is considered bad. That's that's gonna confuse the crap out of everybody, because the reality is that TTFBs came about based on the time reaction of humans when they're waiting for a page to load, or when they're waiting for something that doesn't notify them that they need to wait. So there was a study that was actually conducted in 2024. The max amount of time that people actually wait for a page to load is between 8 to 15 seconds. I wait less than that, but the average is 8 to 15 seconds. After that, they're like literally gone. They don't even visit your site. So 2 3 seconds it's mentioned here because it is enough time for the user to process the clicked action that they did. Sometimes they blame the browser, their internet. They blame something. So 2 3 seconds is still workable. It's still good. Let's put it like that. It could be more optimized, of course, but it's not something bad. So keep in mind that a TTFB needs to be 2 to 3 seconds less in order for the visitors to see something is happening on this site. The LCP does not need to be tackled since it is part of the core vitals, and this is related to all content that shows on the homepage that has the biggest size container, and that's why it's called the LCP, largest contentful pane. And most of the time is the first thing that people will see. So if the TTFB is too high, higher than 2 3 seconds, then yeah, that needs to be optimized. If the LCP is creating an issue, then that one as well needs to be optimized, but it's not as critical as the TFB. So both need to be tackled, and especially the LCP is the one that people will visually notice because they can see that the image is loading, the things are showing on the page, etc. And that could affect the CLS, the cumulative layout shift. Should I edit the SEO templates for all pages? It depends. In most cases, there's no need. Not only because BD did a good job in general. Again, I say in general because it works for most, but there are very specific niche cases where they need to be edited. They actually need to be. But because Google changed the way it analyzes the content, again, Google entities, and the meta tags are no longer the only big things analyzed. Meta tags help as guidelines or indicators, but the real power will be on the content of set pages. Then you don't have to worry about the SEO template so much. Let's put it like that. A lot of people blindly, I would say, start, just guessing where they have to do. I had a case where the owner actually changed the meta information for the SEO templates. He actually changed them probably once or twice a month, maybe more. And that basically crippled my ability to read GSC properly because it created a lot of problems. Let's put it like that. How do you know if you're doing well on SEO? Well, myth is people think that as long as they type their company name in the Google search bar and you see yourself on the first page, that this indicates you're ranking well. A lot of SEO specialists actually do this. Like, look, you're showing. No, that's a myth. Exactly like they put it here. The truth is, that's not how SEO works. You need to think from the point of view of the visitor. You need to type the keywords that people would actually use in order to find your site. You have to think like the target audience. If they don't know you, how in the world would they end up on your site? It's obvious that they will never search your company name because they don't know you. They won't put the URL of your site. Don't do that. That's just giving you false hope, okay? Or anything related to the site. The way that you actually search for yourself is typing specific keywords related to that, typing parts of a title of an article that you did, and if you show there, voila, now you're matching, okay? You have to think the way they think. Your ranking also depends on your industry. There are some industries, as I mentioned, that are considered YMYL, your money or your life. Those will take a lot longer to show. And before 2023, those actually took 6 months, a little bit more. Currently, they take longer. Let's just put it like that. A lot longer, even more than a year. Google will take much longer to rank you. Why? Because the data needs to be more carefully considered for YMYL sites than other sites. Okay. Therefore, if your site is related to health or money, the personal well-being of others, or even their financial state, it'll take you longer for Google to trust you, basically, to rank, because Google worries that you could be sharing misleading information, meaning you're new. I don't know who you are. In all cases, using Google Analytics together with Google Search Console helps you know when something is happening. That's the part of the work that I do. So that change, whatever changes you do, can improve the wellness of the site. Let's put it like that. What happens if my site is a YMYL site? These are critical things. Don't copy other content. You have a YMYL site. Anything that's suspicious or looks similar to another site won't not only get marked as duplicate content, but because you're a YMYL site, they'll trust you even less. Make sure to limit the number of possible mistakes and misleading information by using citations from credible sites, even if they're the competitors. That doesn't matter. To prove that the claims you're making are in fact real. For example, if you give legal advice and you want to make sure Google sees you as a credible source of authority, include an external link to a government website, for example, a competitor, which also talks about the same topic you wrote about. That's like piggybacking of the traffic of others. Okay, that will help Google know. Okay, they relate to each other. They see that they're talking about the same thing. If this keeps happening, Google will eventually trust you, uh, uh, like a lone site. So it won't rely on others to see if they can actually trust you or not. They will analyze your traffic, what's happening with your site, and all of that. Okay, and see how things are going. Think about this and answer it for yourself in regards to that question. When you go to a site, a YMYL site that you don't know about, how do you know that their information is valid and correct and they're not really doing BS or what I call marketing you? Because a lot of the marketing strategies right now are not really the marketing strategies that people in the 90s did. They they were a little bit more truthful, let's put it like that, or at least they didn't lie so much as if what's happening right now. Like right now, you see people that are 20-year-old just doing it for the traffic, not for the truth of it. Like for example, people getting medical advice from TikTok or YouTube. Like what the? Anyway, therefore, you must apply the same concept, the same thinking. Think like your audience. Why would they trust you? How will they trust you, and how relevant do you have to be, truthful you have to be to get to that point? If, by the way, you are a YMYL site and you do get to this EAT factor, or now it's called EAT, um, congratulations, because now you're with the big boys. It doesn't matter how big they are, you will show in the first page. So, by the way, EAT is experience, expertise, authoritative, and trustworthiness. The experience that the owner of the site, the content of the site, the actual site has, how expert they are in that area, how much authority they have in that or relevant to that in that industry or special area, that special category that they're focusing on, how trustworthy they are based on comments from others, backlinks from others, the traffic that you're getting, the comments, the reviews, etc. Well, it could mean that, or it could mean this. So who knows? Anyway, who should you follow to understand SEO? The ones that I particularly follow, by the way, because I don't follow somebody that follows somebody else. I go directly to the source. So on Google, the main ones, there's more, but the main ones are John Mueller, Martin Split, and Gary Eli's, and there's like a couple more, but these are the ones that I follow for advice and help either on YouTube or X. on their YouTube channel, on their audio podcast things too, and so on and so forth. I also follow the Google Search Central. I also follow the Chrome for developers in case a new technique just happened that will help me make your SEO on your site better. So who should I be writing content for? Who do you think? You should be writing or targeting only the users that will either be members, potential members, or interesting visitors that can generate traffic for you, that can connect with your members or will become members themselves. You need to think about what would help your members and the visitors in their specific industry that you're targeting, along with whom and why will visitors be checking out your site. Again, think like them, not like you. One thing I always mention is to avoid writing for traffic alone. That's the 20-something-year-old I was just mentioning with the TikTok thing. If you're writing for traffic, which basically is writing for everyone, it means that you are not really writing for the ones that you should be caring for or caring about. This means, so you can understand in simple terms, that if you're writing for everyone, you are not writing for anyone. What happens if I rename my domain or move the site to another platform? Okay, so if you do that, take into account that you will go through a stage. It will confuse Google for a bit. There's um there's Google offers like a address changing, domain changing thing there, tool. Addressing everything before that happens is critical. I have done sites, in my case, where the content, traffic, and everything in between never lost a single day. And obviously because we prepared for like a month before doing that. I've done others where both the old and new sites ended up competing and creating a disarray of problems. Horrible, horrible. I've also done cases where the new domain name was actually a spam domain years before. It was actually a porn site, so they didn't know that in another country it was a. Well, anyway, which ended up affecting the new content on it. The owner not knowing this beforehand. So yeah, I tried to help the owner as much as I could. Will different canonical URLs for the same content affect my SEO? Will different canonical URLs for the same content affect my SEO? No. Google and John Mueller, by the way, has talked about this. Martin Split has also talked about this a billion times. Google will automatically, they offer that service, select the one that best applies to be indexed, and they will discard the other ones. You're not losing anything. It's just that they're using a specific URL, a specific canonical URL to promote that indexed URL on the Google searches. This is to avoid the public seeing multiple copies of the same content in the search results. So I want you to understand this. Let's say that you have your site, okay, and your site is a single page application, meaning it's a single page, and you have one article there. That's all that you have, and your competitor has the same thing. It's just that they made 1,000 URLs that point to the same content. If Google didn't do this and your competitor shows first, you would be in the position 1001. Just imagine that. So the first 1,000 links for the topic that somebody's searching, it's your competitor for the same content. And then you come in. So that's why that's happening there. Not only that, but the indexing processing uh, of in Google is complex. It's actually very complex and uses a lot of compute power. By the way, on YouTube they have how does indexing work? And there's a cool video. It lasts like an hour, but it actually goes over the whole processing. It's it's amazing at a technological level, for example. They use a lot of compute power, meaning it is best to optimize the results based on the best, what they suggest or think is the best canonical case you have for the alternative content in your site. Okay? Google handles these cases by using canonicalization methods. This goes deeper, of course, for cases where the site offers the same content with multiple languages, for example. So that if someone searches for a country with a specific page, Google will most likely suggest the canonical version that matches that language. There's also cases where the actual content completely changes depending on the country that you're coming from. Like if I visit the same page from here, Costa Rica, and you check that same page from Germany or Australia, and we all three see the different content, that's another case, okay? So remember that canonicalization is mainly to avoid duplicate content either from your end or Google. That's all that canonicalization is doing to help you. It's not penalizing you. What are the three pillars of SEO? There are three, by the way. Some people started making four and five just for marketing and selling you some, some stuff in there. There's on-page SEO, basically your content, the internal linking between them, the meta information of it, the images, the articles, anything inside the site is considered on-page SEO. There's off-page SEO, which is your relationship, the site's relationship with other sites, how your site relates to other sites, either going from your site to others or other sites coming to you, which is backlinking. How your site creates traffic and connection with social media, with similar sites, with traffic activity, like how you're connected, who you are in that concept of an industry that's related to your site. Okay. And then we have the technical SEO optimization. I don't do this, I guide. I can guide there. I don't do this, I guide on those. What we specialize in, what we specialize in is technical SEO. So the site speed, the core vitals, the indexation, the UX, the mobile experience, the desktop experience, the dynamics of content, depending on device and more. The technical SEO affects directly the on-page SEO and promotes the off-page SEO. And this is the explanation that I give some people. Imagine having a turbo or nitro boost on your car. If you don't turn the car on, the boost is not doing anything. And if you don't, you know, push that pedal to the metal, then the boost is not gonna be doing anything either. So you got the nitro running, but the car is not moving. This is what technical SEO is for. So if properly applied by both of us working together in for the better of the site, it will help on page and off page SEO by 50%, 60, 70, 100. There's some cases 200, 300, 500. It depends on your audience, your industry, how much you're willing to dedicate for. This is not 1 week of work. This is for a longer period, like a year or something. I mentioned only three because some will say four or five by diluting one of the three mentioned above into two or three more to sound more pro. I got four or five or six. In reality, based on where the data is located and what actions are taken for it, you end up on one of the three above. That's it. You got information outside of your on inside your site, outside your site, and things that boost either one of those two. That's it. Which sites and tools should I be using that actually bring value to my SEO work? The ones that I recommend are these ones. Not everything here, not everything here. Obviously, if you've learned already, obviously this is all Google's, but these are the ones I recommend if you do heavy SEO work. Okay. Do I need to notify you of any Google alerts, emails, or notifications? No. Pertaining to Google Search Console? No. Google API? No. Or Google said, no, don't. Please don't. Why? Because the same alerts that you're getting, I'm getting them too. Okay? I get everything you get from Google and more, and the team and I are always on top of it. We're used to it. I mean, it's been more than 10 years. If you're doing, actually, it's been 15 years or something like that, 16, 17, I forgot. If you're doing an SEO optimization with us, the point of that is not to worry about SEO. That's why you're hiring us. At least for a year, since that is what is being done automatically from our end. We take care of that. Now, now, the other way around is completely different. Meaning, if we find something that the site has that we know for a fact is affecting the SEO, we will let you know, and we have to work together in some cases. Like today, I have to meet two owners because they have to do something about the EEA consent for the European, like a notification, like a consent pop-up on their site. Or I will assign homework for you to do because we both need to work together for your site. Okay? You want to earn those big bucks? Put effort into your site. That needs to be tackled in order to improve the SEO, comply with regulations from either Google or some entity, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. Here are some of the current cases that I'm working. Right now I'm working with 15. We can handle probably 10 more or for the team of people that we have here. So that we can still check them on a daily or weekly basis, but up to 10 more. And after that, we have to notify everybody on updating the description below that that we're booked. So I'm going to show you 8 cases here. So I group sites by the type of niche site and industry that they are. So this is an extra small type of site. It's very small. It's also a YMYL site. That's very hard to grow. Very hard to grow. We started working on the site on March 2024, and it's grown from the moment that we started working on it from 2 to 300 average unique visitors, by the way. This is great, but you'll see over time, as I did above with the progress cases, that you're going to see bad cases and good cases, okay? So this is a case, you can see the dates there and all that, where it's been growing, and but the amount of index pages is shrinking. The most for me, if I look at this quickly, I would tell the owner, hey, are you adding new content to the site? Are you doing backlinking with special places that you know and you've been working with, et cetera, et cetera? So those are the things that I would be asking for. Here you can see the traffic amount that they're getting. The indexing has been going down either because the pages are no longer relevant. They don't need to be crawled again. They're not as important for indexing as they once were, et cetera, et cetera. Even with that said, you can see the growth here. It grew. Well, actually, here you can see the graph there. It grew here and stabilized. It stabilized somewhere in there. So before we were talking about 2-3, um, around 2-3. Now it's 3 something, but the impressions um, actually grew a lot. So it's getting noticed more. Eventually, over time, this will eventually grow more. You can see a growth here. I put this circle here because this site was actually getting traffic here. If you look at the graph like it is right now, you would say that it was dead here. It didn't have the Google Analytics at that moment. It actually had it, but it was only getting 1 to 2. I don't know how many I put there. 2. Okay, so I put 2, 1 to 2. So that's why it showed it. And then after doing the technical SEO optimizations, this happened. Okay, so it took this long to actually grow, which is like a month and something. And then you see that it stabilized around that amount. That's for the 12 months, by the way. Here you can see that it's more direct. That means that organically speaking, which is where they're supposed to be growing, it still sucks. It hasn't done anything. They are actively doing a lot of direct, it could be emails, okay? A lot of emails, a lot of ads, a lot of stuff like that. So they're actively doing a lot of that instead of other techniques that they already know about. So because I always tell everybody more or less what they're supposed to be knowing. Here's the growth that they have over time. Last 30 days, that many. So they have grown. Okay, they have grown, but I would expect a much better organic result. That's my concern. So because I need to avoid you wasting money. So here's a medium type site. We started working on it on June 2024. It went from 112 at that point to 716 more or less. Here's the growth. Here's the crawling. You can see that the crawling it started to level. Okay. Here's the growth again, and again, it's based on adding content, doing proper optimization to the site, working together is what I'm trying to say. So here's 6 months, so you can actually see what they were, and you can go back a year and a half here, and it would still be around there. Then they got the SEO, technical SEO optimization, and voila, you got that result. This effect here is the August thing that I'm referring to. So I did some changes so it wouldn't go down so much. That's all, okay? It will go down, but not as much as it would have had if we didn't do some of the SEO suggestions that I mentioned to the owner. Here's the same thing. Again, if you already see my other previous videos, don't forget about the end of the graphs because they always point to zero. So this basically sucks completely. The site has grown over the past. Well, this is actually uh, talking between the first this 12 months and the previous 12 months. So it's a forget about the 185. That's a false positive there. It's less, but it has grown. It has grown. And you can see the graph here, and you can see that now. Remember the organic things that I was talking about? You can see that organically is growing. My dream for this site is for organic search, at least for organic search, to surpass direct searches. And that will mean that the owner can stop paying for something or stop doing email campaigns or sharing the link directly to their friends or Facebook groups or whatever. Okay? That basically Google is taking care of them. Okay? Yeah, here's the growth. Here's another case. This is a small to medium one, so it's a little bit above small. We started on September. So it grew, I'm saying grew from 1.5 to 1.3. Hey, isn't that shrinking? Yep, because they got affected by the Google core. They didn't get affected so much as other cases, or maybe your site, but they did get affected. And I'm showing you this because you can see that there's a pattern. Everybody got hit by that at some point, um, at the same point. It's not your site, it's most of the sites. So here's, you can see more information on the performance, the indexing there. Some of them actually went down based on the new rules of the Google core updates. This is a site, oh, this is a great case. So here they were in WordPress, and then they moved to BD. The people that were handling their case, they did a horrible job. So imagine going from the middle of November till the beginning of March dead. That 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 just kills everybody that's interested in being in your site. So something to take into consideration. By the way, we didn't do the SEO optimization here. We did it here. Okay. After that, we and again, Google core updates. It didn't go so down or worse as this. But even with the Google core updates, we'll still have more impressions and more clicks than the whole time they were on in WordPress. You can see it here too. Okay. And this is great because organically they keep on growing. I'm just waiting for this to happen. I'll just like take a picture and give it to the owner. I'll be super happy. Um, you can see the growth there too. Here's another case. This one um, didn't get affected by the Google core updates, but it did go down in traffic. This is a small niche type site. We started on September. We had to remove a lot of bad things that happened on the site before. A lot of the typical SEO expert, they call themselves, that they made a really huge boo boo, and now we gotta fix that boo boo with a huge band aid. So anyway, we try our best. We're still trying because it's September, so it's too early to decide. But at least we lower the amount of that it was about to get hit, and we were able to actually avoid Google core updates affecting this in a really huge negative way. Okay, you can see the behavior here, the traffic, everything that's happening there. Yeah, the traffic went to hell, but they're still getting some active users during that time frame. And they're still engaging with the site a lot. That's very important. Here's the organic for it. So obviously between the times that I'm assuming here, we're talking March, we should be able to see that organic social and search start surpassing direct. And this one should be going up around 1,000. In Give me a second. October, November, December. Yep, around March. Around March, it should be fixing itself. Okay. So yeah, this is the graph optimization we did here. You can see the SEO optimization tackling there. Here's another case. We started on September again. This is a YMYL site, and it's another extra small site. Very niche, like deep niche. You can see the fall there again related to Google core updates. The fall of the index pages, but that's mostly because the boost helping indexing a lot of the pages in one go, but not all pages actually needed to be indexed. So remember what I talked about indexing pages all the way above? That's what we mean. So it's going to normalize at some point with the actual relevant pages that should be indexed by Google, or Google considers that it should be indexed, so that it promotes the site in a safe way. Here's the same site. You can see that it more or less avoided the core update killer there. And yeah, and we're still above what it was before. I remember it was 80 or 90 or something like that. Right now we have 600, something like that. Um, this is very small for the engagement time, by the way, so that needs to be fixed by changing some of the things on the site. And they're doing a lot more direct than organic search. They have to, because they are a very small niche, and they're also YMYL. So you're like forced. If you don't do great the first couple of months on organic search, then you have to do direct, so people can actually see you. And also, you got to promote yourself in multiple places related to your site, as I mentioned before. So here are the jumps. They literally die with the optimization and so on and so forth. A lot of drama here. Here's a site, a small site, that is a YMYL. We started on March 2024. We detected a bad past work that basically affected the site for several months, actually. And then I've been investigating the site for the last month and a half, because the behavior from the index didn't correlate with what I was seeing here. If we map this to this one, they don't actually correlate properly. Okay, there's things that are not, doesn't make sense. Okay, or at least that magnitude. And I found out that they actually hijacked the site. They were using the traffic and the Google Analytics keys and all that to promote a different site from another country. I wouldn't say the country, but you know which country I'm talking about. And the Google basically ended up, because the other site was getting more traffic, because it was the SEO specialist that this owner hired, and they basically hijacked the whole site. Um, Google played in favor of that other site. So everything here will go away. Literally, 100% of this will go away over time. And there won't be no pages index on this site. So that's something that I'm talking about with the owners, so we can handle the situation at the Google Search Console level and the Google Analytics level before this dies out. Because it was, you can see, look, you can see we started on March, I believe. Yeah, March. You can see the growth here until the sabotage of the whole thing started kicking in, and it just killed her site. The jump here is related to the Google core updates, but eventually the whole thing is happening because of the hijacking. So anyway, here you can see this is part of the hijacking, by the way. So the owner of the site had another Google Analytics that actually had the information that's supposed to be here, and another Google Analytics that had the information that's supposed to be here, even going back. And that's how I ended up doing, 1 + 1 = oh my god, they're being hijacked. The engagement time is great, so that it means that she has potential. The owner of the site has a lot of potential, and the organic social is growing, organic search is growing faster than other sites that you've seen, but the owner needs help. Here's case 7. It's a medium type site. We started January 2004. It went from 700 to 1800. It's growing steady. Okay, you can see everything here. Um, the indexing, it's been growing steady there. I'm happy, 97%, so that's good. Yeah, and you can see all the information there. Organic search, you can see why I'm happy. Okay, so like I did my best and I was able to accomplish it here. I'm showing you bad cases and good cases so you as the owner understand that this is not a mathematical equation or something that you pay, yay, I did it. No, we need to work together because you can see cases here that have happened that they still don't have that luck like this particular one. Okay, here you can see a growth. We did the SEO optimization here because of some critical issues that happened that year. I'm showing you here from 2022 till now. Okay, so up to that point, they were paying a lot of ads, and voila, we did that, and whee, yay! Again, forget about the end of the graph because, as I mentioned, graphs on Google they suck. I don't know the dumb engineer that did this, but they tend to zero, so you think you're like failing a lot. Here's case 8, and small going to medium type site. September, we started September, it went to 1500 to 1200, meaning it's going down. Indexing went down. The trends are going down, even though the Google core updates happened, the trend didn't go down faster. So I was able to leverage that in favor of the site. Here you can see that um, the trends there. So I was able to fix, let's put it like that. 1 minute, pam, pam, pam. It's still doable there, and the organic searches is going. This will eventually turn this around and grow organically. I'm actually checking out this specific site for 12 more months just to congratulate the owner because the owner actually did a great job here too. There's several that I've been congratulating, but this one I'm happy. And you can see the trends there, how it's growing from from the past 3 months. We're talking 10,000 clicks, 2 million impressions, and so on and so forth. Okay, so I'm very happy with the work that we've been doing here. I hope this video helps everybody understand how Google works in multiple places, how you're supposed to evaluate the behavior of your site, the SEO optimizations that need to be done, technical optimizations, the package that I offer at a discount for now, um, and all the benefits that you can get here. Access to this document is only for the partners that have the SEO optimization, and this is missing 50 other pages that tackle specific things on BD sites. Okay, so just to take into consideration that I'll be adding more content here and whatnot. So I hope you like this video. Hope it helped you. Leave comments. Subscribe to the channel. I don't do a lot of videos, but if I do them, I do them for you, to help you. So hope you like the video. Big hugs and think positive as always.